Hi, I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Kris Kuyper. Here we are about halfway through the month of Foguary, and we're going to call it that because so far this month, that's what it's been. Lots of fog and very little rain here for the month. January was certainly a very foggy month as well, but it looks like we're finally maybe turning a corner and getting out of the fog and getting into some rain, which we really start to get to the point where we could use some rain. And we've got a lot of rain in the forecast for us this upcoming week here. This weekend still looks dry, looks great for Valentine's Day, but next week looks rather soggy out there. Again, speaking of Valentine's Day, forecast for Valentine's Day looking like this. Roses are red. Hey, they smell like heaven. Valentine's Day will be partly to mostly cloudy skies with a high of 67. So book it. It should be a nice, warm and mild Valentine's Day. Starting off with a little bit of fog out there potentially in the morning. I don't know if we're going to add to this number on Valentine's Day, but certainly I've seen a lot of fog out here recently. 39 days of dense fog at Fresno Yosemite International Airport. That's when the visibility gets down to a quarter of a mile or below. We've had many other days where the visibility got down to about a half mile, which is still pretty foggy, but that's not the technical definition of dense fog. We've had 39 days of that quarter mile visibility or less. That's a bunch for us, especially lately. Now, back in the day when mom and dad were walking to school uphill both ways in the snow and whatnot, that was average for the year. We used to average between the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, early 90s. We would average 40 days of that dense fog every year. But ever since we got to about middle 90s and 2000s, 2010s and such, the fog days have really dropped on down. About half that, about 24 days per year. But this year, back to 39, make it to 40 before the season's all done. So going back to the old times as far as the fog goes here. Any younger folk out there, anybody who's 20 years old, 21, 22, hasn't seen that kind of fog because this is the foggiest year we've had in 23 years. We get one more day of dense fog. It'll be the foggiest season for us in 28 years. That's a lot. Okay, if we have fog out there, it can't be raining. You usually don't have fog and rain at the same time or so. We had certainly that dry spell in the month of January. We did a 32-day stretch of no rain whatsoever began January 8th and just ended on February 10th. In November or October, okay, it's kind of a deal. But in the heart of our rainy season, and our rainy season really it peaks December, January, February, March. Those 4 months are the 4 months that we get the majority of our rain. They are by far our 4 wettest months of the year. We still get rain in November, we still get rain in April, but not nearly as much as December, January, February, March. And for us to get a big stretch of over a month of dry weather in that heart of it, that's rather impressive or depressing, if you will. In fact, our 6th longest stretch of dry weather in those 4 months that we've ever had at Fresno Yosemite International Airport. And when we went into the month of January, back just about a month ago or so, we were sitting at about double our average rainfall for the season. We were about 200% of normal, but haven't had any rain. It's dry out there. And so now we're almost back down to normal. Still a little above normal, but not by a whole lot. But we're about to flip the switch here and get back into the rain again and the snow on the mountains. Boy, it's been a while since Chesapeake had some good snow. Had a little bit earlier on this week. We'll see a lot more as we get on into next week. And so you got a new pair of skis for Christmas and you've been just waiting to use them and such. Hey, it's coming up here real good. And boy, the middle part of this week, if you can get to the mountains, boy, it's going to be great skiing up there at Chesapeake or wherever you happen to go. We've got a winter storm watch kicking in here Sunday evening, goes through half of next week through Wednesday evening or so, and we're going to be measuring the snow in the Sierra Nevada in feet out of the storm system, above 4,000 feet, between 4,000 and 6,000 feet. 1 to 2 feet of snow. Shaver Lake, that's you. I think you're probably be closer to that 2 feet of snow there in Shaver Lake. And then you get above 6,000 feet where it's just mostly mountains and the animals and such, 3 to 5 feet of snow up in the higher elevations. Boy, some big snow totals up there. What about the snow levels, you're asking? Well, those are going to be low here for a while. Monday, when the storm begins, they'll start around 5,000 feet or so, but really about Monday night and through the day Tuesday, that's when they drop to about 4,000 feet. Wednesday, the storm's kind of winding down, but that's when we really bring the cold air on in, and the snow levels drop to about 3,000 feet. If you're heading down to L.A. anytime next week, the Grapevine, Tejon Pass there, elevation about 4,100 feet. So really starting Monday night and Tuesday and Wednesday especially, there is that chance of snow over the Grapevine. If you're a little timid about driving over the Grapevine in snowy conditions, you might have to take the long way out there towards Paso Robles and Santa Barbara and those areas. If you feel comfortable driving in the snow, well, you might be doing that there Tuesday and Wednesday over the Grapevine. All right, let's take a look at our storm system as it develops here over the weekend. Here it is, Alpha off the Pacific coastline. Here's the water vapor imagery. I just want to show you this so you see the energy with the storm system. Nice deep area of low pressure developing, and you saw the spin in the atmosphere as well. Now let's look at a regular satellite image here and show you the storm system. Big plume of moisture ahead of it. Not quite an atmospheric river for us when it reaches us, but a little bit close. Certainly a heavy rainmaker for us in the valley and a good snowmaker in the mountains. Look behind it here. This is the speckled clouds back here. That's a signature of cold air coming from the Gulf of Alaska. When that moves in, that's when our snow levels take those big drop down to 4,000 or 3,000 feet or so. Again, much less moisture, but the snow levels will get really low there by the middle part of next week. So let's time it out here now with Futurecast. And we go into our Monday, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're driving to work. In the rain. Rain should be just beginning about that time or so, rather light as it begins. Then we get towards Monday afternoon. We're about 2 o'clock or so. Boy, look at the rain really coming on down, pouring down there towards San Gabriel and San Bernardino Mountains. We'll be getting some pretty good rain here in the San Joaquin Valley as well. And the snow really starting to fly up into Sierra Nevada. Then we get into Tuesday. It keeps going. Not quite as heavy, but still off and on showers through the day Tuesday. A little bit unstable. There might be a thunderstorm in the valley also, and the snow continues to fly into Sierra Nevada. Wednesday, snow levels really starting to drop. Notice the rain starting to dry up in the valley. It'll still be soggy occasionally with off and on showers out there, and the snow levels continuing, and the snow continuing to pile up in the mountains. And that's when we'll see that fine, fluffy stuff in the higher elevations of Sierra Nevada and down towards Tehachapi's and the Grapevine as well. Okay, again, looking at our forecast, the weekend still looks pretty good, pretty mild out there, dry. But as we get into Sunday night and Monday, here comes the wet weather. Chance of a thunderstorm on Tuesday, continuing off and on showers for us on Wednesday, drying up after that. And those temperatures, kind of chilly, 50s for highs and 30s for lows later on next week.